the majority of my work actually was with Combat and other small labels uh, before I did the Megadeth thing. So
Yeah, which is very classic. Peace Cells is one of the biggest albums, like metal albums ever. Like how did you even get that gig producing for Megadeth?
um, actually, I was taking a break from working in as a recording engineer and a producer, and I was going to school and studying computer science. So Steve called me up. Steve Sinclair called me and he said, "I have this band, and you have to produce them. You're the only guy. You've got to go do it." And I was like living, in Antelope Valley with my parents and just, doing calculus and stuff like that. And but it was a nice break. Anyway, I came back into town and um, went to a rehearsal, and they played through their set. And I quit school, got an apartment in Hollywood, did the record, you know, the rest is
Yeah.
history, that kind of thing. No,
Yeah.
it was Steve Sinclair. So I really owe a huge debt to Steve Sinclair. Had it not been for Steve and Ron, I don't know what would have happened. In between Steve and Ron, I did one really big record, which was I engineered the Suicidal Tendencies record, the first one with Institutionalized,
Yep.
and that was Lisa Fancher at Frontier. Um, she had Christian Death, and I really wanted to do Christian Death, but another guy got that, and but she gave me Suicidal, and it turned out really good. So the Megadeth boys said, if um, you did Suicidal, you're good enough for us. That was their comment about that.
Did you know of Megadeth before this?
No, no,
No. So you went in
no.
completely blind at rehearsal.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And and it was the only time in my entire career where I walked in, I heard the band and went, "Holy shit, this is going to be a hit record. This is it. This is the big one. This is, the big opportunity, and this is going to go somewhere." And I was right. But, uh,
You just knew it right away.
I knew it in before they finished the set in that rehearsal room up there. So and it became obvious as we went through the recording process. It was just so exciting to be in the studio with those guys. They just came off a tour, and they were absolutely on fire. And they would go out and play this stuff, and it would just be so exciting to hear it in the control room. It's like it was fun. We knew it was something special. And it was.
For sure, man. Like I can't even imagine what that could have been like. What was your first impression of the guys when you first met them?
Um, they all seem reasonable, nice guys to me, and they're all good. Um, I got along well with all of them, so there was no issues there.
Yeah, I know famously on record there was a lot of drug use during that time and in the studio. Was that ever an issue when recording Megadeth?
Um, these guys were doing drugs, and Gar and Chris were chewing heroin, and it was only an issue on a few days when they couldn't score or they didn't have money to score. And then as soon as they got the drugs, we were off and running again. So literally it was just a couple of mornings that we got a little bit of a late start because I didn't feel good. So uh, they're very high functioning. They just, yeah, there was no problem with the performance or anything like that. Next year, I'm going to approach Dave and see if he'll let me remix Peace Cells for the 40th anniversary edition that'll come out in 2026. So that's been my plan here for a few years. I've been working towards it, and I really feel like I'm getting close now to being able to really do it justice. So um, we'll see, we'll see. I'm going to talk to him next year. So
Very exciting, man. And I would kill to hear that mix, regardless of a collaboration or not. That is so sweet. Have you heard the remixes of that record?
I have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think um um the Paul Lanny one I didn't care for too much. Dave's remix I thought was a little better,
Hmm.
definitely better, but I think there's still more there.
Yeah, for
So no,
sure.
Dave's mixes were definitely good. So yeah, see that's what I don't know if from a business point of view, if the audience will tolerate that many editions of that record, I just don't know. Dave will know. Dave will he'll have a good idea about that right away, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I think, the name, like I think the fact that you would do it is,
Hmm.
I like as a Megadeth fan, I am so sick of the remixes, the remasters, the
Right, right.
re-releases, but if you're doing it, I am fully for it. I don't care if it's an album you
Well,
haven't mixed originally or mastered. I would love to hear your take on
well, I'm
that record again.
I'm gonna. I think that the Chris Poland remix will be a good selling point, and that's going to be out next year. So Dave can put on the original and put on this one and go, okay, give me the tapes, give me the files. Let me do a couple of mixes and see what you think, and then he can decide what he wants to do. But I think I think there's something there. I think there's a possibility. I think he might go for it, but I just don't know yet.
I think there's a
So
chance. I would love to hear your take on Black Friday again. Like there's
mhm.
so much of that Chris stuff is so good. Like that
The
album
Good Morning
is,
solo.
yeah, the Good Mornings. Oh
But
man.
by the way, there's a note in there that he thinks, or it is a little flat, but he wanted to do it again. He wanted to do it solo again, and it bugs him when
Really?
every time he hears it because there's one note that's a little bit flat, and it's like it's a great take. So anyway, he gives me a little shit about it once in a while,
If this
but
works
it's all in
out,
good news. Yeah, it's all
yeah,
good. It's all
for
good.
sure. Oh, it's a fantastic record, and it's like, oh, it's practically perfect. I know that'd be so amazing, and I know this is even more of a stretch, but to even have Chris come in and maybe re-record that part just for his sake, I can't even tell you what note it is. Maybe if I
Yeah.
listen super closely with high fidelity headphones,
Well,
I can
he
maybe.
he he does those killer bends, and he does them with first without vibrato, and then later there's some, and so it's just one of those notes where he's reaching for it in the good morning part and the slow part at the beginning. That
Yeah.
he's he's always he's brought it up a few times to me, but it's all good. It's all good. He's really really happy with the remixes that I did earlier this year. Um, so we've got all that ready, but I want to do it again with my new analog gear
Yeah.
because this
So
is in my new room. So this stuff is definitely. Um, I did some work for Leatherwolf, uh, Dean Roberts,
awesome.
and um, I mixed some songs in 22 and 23, and I just finished remixing one of the songs that we had done earlier, and you can hear them next to each other. And the old mix sounds good, but the new mix just sounds bigger and deeper and more depth to it and more. It's just it's really when you just A/B them, you go, yeah, that one sounds better.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
just that simple.